Now we're going to do our last problem today for how to divide fractions in word problems. And then I'll let you try a few on your own. I have 3/4 of a pound of chocolate. I want to divide it into 1/8 pound pieces. How many pieces can I make? You're going to write down the total, the number of groups, and the number in each group. So if you want to pause the video to write down the problem, go ahead and pause it now. Okay, whenever I do one of these problems, I'm always going to read the problem more than once. I have 3/4 of a pound of chocolate. I want to divide it into 1/8 pound pieces. How many pieces can I make? The first thing I have to do is understand the problem. That means, what is the question? See if you can underline the question. How many pieces can I make? That's the question. Now, the other part of understanding the problem is to find out what information I know already. So it tells me I have 3/4 of a pound of chocolate, and it says I want 1/8 pound pieces. So I want to include the units with that, because when you do math problems, you want to remember your units. Now, we've done the understanding the problem. Now we need to plan. Part 2 is plan. And so I'm going to look for some keywords to see if I have a clue as to whether I want to add, subtract, multiply, divide, or do something else. I see the word divide. That's a pretty good clue that I'm going to divide something up. So I need to see what are my total number of groups and number in each group. My total is 3/4 of a pound. That's all of the chocolate I have. That's my total amount. Now I'm going to split it up. I'm going to divide it into groups. And how much am I going to put in each group? 1/8 pound. So I'm going to put my unit up here. LB is the abbreviation for pound. So I'm going to put 3/4 pound is my total, 1/8 pound in each group, and X is my number of groups. That's what I want to find out. Remember that in division, if you can't tell which one's the number in each group and which one is the number of groups, it's okay. It will still work out fine, because you'll still be taking your total and dividing by one of these to get the other. It's just that you have to make sure you know what the total is. Wouldn't be the same answer if I started with 1/8 of a pound pieces, because that's not going to make my problem come out right. So I've already planned, I'm going to divide. And this is the problem I will solve. 3/4 divided by 1/8. Okay, so now I'm going to, when I divide, I have to remember I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. 3/4 times 8/1. I can cancel. This becomes 2, and I get 6. Now, this is my answer, but I'm not through until I check to make sure that it makes sense. All right, I started with 3/4 of a pound, and I divided into 1/8 pound pieces. Now, if I think about it, 1/8 plus, if I have 6 of them, 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8. Let me put a couple more over here. I have 6 groups of 1/8, right? And so that's going to give me 6/8. What does that reduce to? It reduces to 3/4. So that makes sense. My answer is correct.